I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact focused on personal growth, my Knowledge Workbook series and Creative Healing course can help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And in this video, we're going to be talking to you about, can avoidance really move on quickly after a breakup?
I don't know.
Feels like it. It feels like it.
It does.
And we're going to get to that in a minute, but what do you guys think about our new setup like this? You know, we've been doing the backdrop like this, or our set, whatever you want to call it, for the Craig Kenneth Show. And we thought we'd switch it up and see what you guys think. Do you guys prefer if we have it like this? I know you get used to the way that it's been for the same 2,000 videos, essentially.
I thought you were going to say 2,000 years.
It feels like it. But what do you think? Leave an opinion for us so we know what you guys think. Do you prefer this kind of setup, or do you prefer the other way?
Yeah, we want you to feel right in your living room. We got this nice plant for you to look at.
With some little Christmas lights on there, too.
Yeah.
So leave a comment. Let us know. So, avoidance. Boy, when you are going through a breakup with an avoidant, they can look very stubborn. Mm-hmm. They can look like they are never coming back. They're never going to turn around. They're never going to talk to you, and their feelings are never going to change.
Oh, yeah. And then when you see them in a relationship with somebody else, it seems like they're just living the life.
Yep. So we know how painful it is, mm-hmm. and you got to be careful with the advice that you see out there. There's a lot of people that don't have any kind of education or any kind of experience, and they just spew a lot of nonsense out there that is simply not true. Because avoidants do form deep connections, and it is hard for them to let go, even though they don't look like it, because they want to run. Mm-hmm. At that time of the breakup, they want to run. You're not going to change their mind. You're not going to trick them. You're not going to manipulate. You're not going to guilt.
Right. And they can form these deep connections, but it's more challenging for them to do so because they fear that intimacy. Mm-hmm. They fear somebody really seeing them. They fear that vulnerability with someone. So a lot of times people think, man, avoidance, they just kind of forget and they're a blank slate for whoever's next in their life and they can just welcome them with open arms. It doesn't quite work that way.
Yep.
You know, there might be a superficiality to their next relationships. They don't really know the person too well. We know that avoidants can tend to come on strong, but it doesn't mean that they're forming that deep, vulnerable bond with somebody. And that's a really important distinction to make.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because when you see that your ex is dating somebody new and they're jumping into a new relationship, it feels like the end of the world for you. Mm-hmm. It feels like that's it. They found their person. They're never going to contact you again. They are happily riding off into the sunset. But it very, very rarely works out like that. A lot of times the new relationship doesn't last very long. They're using it to comfort them from the pain of the breakup. Maybe they even fantasize that this new person is going to be perfect and amazing, but then they're going to realize that other person has needs and different feelings and obligations. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they don't attach to that new person, or the new person doesn't attach to them.
Right. A person who has an avoidant attachment style, that doesn't go away suddenly overnight. It's not that tomorrow they're going to have this deep capacity for love and vulnerability and tenderness with somebody. Yeah. Just right off the bat. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't quite work that way. And avoidants, they do just that. Remember, they avoid. And so a lot of times if they're distracting themselves with these new relationships, it's a way to avoid the pain of that loss. It's a way to avoid pain from childhood. It's a way to avoid a lot of pain in general.
Yeah, unfortunately, people that wind up with an avoidant attachment style had a lot of trauma, mm-hmm. neglect. They'll tell you, my childhood was great. My childhood was good. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah? How many times did the police come to your house? Oh, all the time. They knew us by first and last name. Yeah. And, you know, I lived that working in the community. I saw that a lot. I worked in a very low income area where I would go to the homes and see the families and see it firsthand. and unfortunately there was abuse going on sometimes. You'd have to report it or make sure that kids are safe or families are safe. Sometimes there's drug addicts going on and things like that. But that's what winds up creating people that don't trust other people, growing up in homes that you don't feel safe, you don't feel loved, you don't feel cared about.
Mm-hmm. And those with avoidant attachment styles, they're able to compartmentalize really well because they're trying to avoid that pain. So they're able to just put that in a nice little box and then look somewhere else. And to a lot of people, you might be thinking, well, being able to compartmentalize, that must be a good thing, right? No, it means you end up being really fragmented. You're just that. You're very compartmentalized and you're not whole. You're not integrated and able to integrate all of your experiences with your current ones.
And I said something like that recently to a client where I kind of described it like there's a bridge from their conscious mind to their unconscious mind, and it's like a drawbridge for them. For the avoidant, it's like sometimes the bridge goes down so the information gets across, but a lot of times it's up so the stuff in their unconscious is pushed away in a box in the back, not thought about, not dealt with.
Right.
Whereas people that are healthier and secure, the bridge is more, it's there and the information is more readily available.
Right, and people tend to correlate how fast somebody moves on or how capable they are of introducing somebody new into their life with how much they cared about you in that relationship.
Yes.
And that's coming from that perspective of that person with all those thoughts, emotions, feelings from the breakup is the same person that's making these decisions to distract themselves with new people.
Yeah.
While yes, that's true, because of their ability to compartmentalize, they're able to meet somebody new and push everything else back. So yes, there is that sense of they're not bringing their whole self and all of their emotions and all the grief and all the loss to their new experiences.
But that only lasts for so long. And like we said up front, a lot of times those new relationships don't last. So you're afraid that this is going to be somebody they're going to have a very serious relationship with. That person, it rarely lasts more than 5 or 6 months. Sometimes it doesn't even get there. But just understand that just because they're dating somebody new doesn't mean that it's going to become serious. Even if they say it's going to become serious, because sometimes they'll even tell you, it's getting serious.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting serious, okay? I just want to let you know. It's getting serious.
And it's been like 2 months.
Yeah. How many times have you been out? We saw each other 3 times. He's moved in.
I know his dog's name, okay? We're on dog name level.
I'm telling you, I've seen it so many times, and it's like, oh, we're serious now. Oh, okay. I laugh because I see so often it just doesn't even last much longer than that.
Right. It takes time to really build that type of deep connection.
Yes.
And I'm bold enough to say that the closer that you were with your partner, the more intimidating it was for your avoidant ex, the more that probably scared them. And that might have been something that led to the breakup where they couldn't handle the closeness.
Yeah.
But on the same token, that's also how much of an impact it had on them. We talk about sometimes in counseling, the more resistance you get, the closer you're getting to the real issue. And that's really what it is with avoidance. They have all these walls up. And so it feels like
defense mechanisms.
It's hard to we talked about that pistachio shell that just won't crack open. It's hard to crack them open. But a lot of times they're protecting something. They're protecting themselves.
They feel too vulnerable.
Exactly. Because it does take vulnerability to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
It does take being in that spotlight a bit some of the time. So that can be something that's really scary. At the same time, because it is so scary, those types of relationships could be scarce for the avoidant, the deeper kind, the kind that get close enough to get scary. And so for them, moving on quickly, moving on into another deep, vulnerable, close relationship is not something that happens often.
No, it's not. It's usually just something fast, something quick, something that makes them feel great and amazing with all the chemicals that Mother Nature releases in us, endorphins and oxytocin and dopamine, and we feel so amazing and so alive in the beginning, and we fantasize about how perfect it's going to be until each of you have your own set of needs, or that new person and your ex has their own set of needs, and they don't want to meet each other's needs.
Yeah, and like I said before, remember the avoidant is going to try to avoid. A lot of times you'll see those with more avoidant attachment styles, that avoidant trauma that happened to them in their childhood. A lot of times they turn to substances. That can be one of the best ways to avoid, because you literally dissociate with reality in the world. Love in itself can be a drug. When you are on this high of, man, I've met somebody new and they like everything that I like, and I can fantasize about this make-believe future with me and them together, and they're meeting all of my needs and everything is just going so well and so smoothly, that is like a drug. That is like the dissociation from what's actually happening, and the effort that it takes to build a real relationship.
Yep. So if you see an avoidant ex, or you see your partner moving on quickly, just know that it's not likely going to last. They're not going to magically transform into the perfect person that you wish that they would always have been with you. There's a good chance the relationship issues that they had with you are going to come out in this new relationship as well.
Right, and something to think about if they are reconsidering the relationship with you. Now, you want to also be aware of their growth. Have they moved on quickly to a lot of different relationships to distract themselves, and now they're ready to return back to this one and they haven't made much personal growth? Or have they had time to think about things, to reflect on the relationship, to show up in a way that's humble and prepared to start a new relationship?
And that's what you want to see. Ideally, you want to see that they're focused on personal growth, that you have focused on personal growth, and that you guys can repair things like adults and be conscious of each other's needs and making each other happy.
Exactly.
All right, so hopefully this one's been helpful to you. And of course, if you want to get our help personally, you could do that on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Zoom calls. Coach Victoria is also available for Zoom calls.
I'm here whenever you'd like to chat.
Just click on her name at the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm Coach Victoria.
And we will talk with you soon.